the hills of West Virginia resound with the sounds of Golden Blue football.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Now let's bring on the Mountaineers. Goes around about the 15 to 10 to 5. A touchdown, West Virginia. He did it.
He did it. Patrick White. Touchdown, Tavon Austin.
The Don Nehlen's Mountaineers enjoy walking in where angels feared to tread.
I think you think that these guys are going to fall over dead for you. Well, I got news for you. They're going to punch you right in the mouth. It's Mountaineer pride.
Nothing cheap, nothing dirty, but West Virginia football. West Virginia football.
We've no doubt tonight they shouldn't have played the old Golden Blue. Not this night.
They've done it. They've done it. A perfect season. And the Mountaineers, for the first time in history, undefeated and untied.
Don Nehlen and his Mountaineers, for the second time, have finished a regular season with an unblemished mark.
Ain't no stopping the Golden Blue.
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome back into the Country Roads webcast. We're providing you West Virginia sports content from Mountaineer fans for Mountaineer fans. Here for the March 17th live stream here on the CRW, and we have recruiting updates abound here to talk both in football and in basketball. Both men and women's basketball, actually, as women's basketball just signed a really talented prospect. We've got an update on incoming five-star recruit Miles Sadler and what he's been achieving here lately. And then could West Virginia be in the mix for another five-star basketball recruit? And then on the football side, West Virginia just offered a quarterback that had me salivating when I was watching the tape on him. Definitely probably just jumped to the top of my wish list there as far as 2027 recruits are concerned. So we're going to take a look at him as well, in addition to some other topics that I have here that we'll cover here on the show. But as always, your questions, comments are welcomed here throughout, whether you're live or watching a playback. If you're live, you can drop them in the chat there. I'll get to as many as I can. Of course, I'll answer all of them from channel members. And then if you want to make sure yours gets addressed, you can send it as a super chat, but I'll get to as many as I can, time permitting there towards the end of the show. And whether you're watching live or on a playback, you can also help out by hitting the thumbs up button on the video. Giving the video a like helps it hit that YouTube algorithm so it can find other Mountaineer fans like you and me. And if you haven't yet, be sure you're subscribed. That way you get notified when we go live at times like these, plus get our pre-recorded videos directly into your feed as I'm putting out the WVU News Daily Show every Monday through Friday here, covering all WVU sports. So we got a lot to talk about here. So like I said, we can't let the men have all the fun. We got to talk a little bit about the women recruiting as well. So let's start on that side of things and talk a little women's basketball, as it was just announced earlier today that West Virginia has signed Shantae Murray out of Ontario, Canada. How about West Virginia basketball recruiting Canada so much, both in men's and women's now? 6'1" wing/forward, and we have the article here from WVU Sports we can pull up to learn a little bit more about her, because I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised with how high rated she was in the class and how Mark Kellogg's going to keep this thing rolling. Been an all-time season already this year. They may make a deep run in the tournament. And how about the tickets already selling out for that tournament being held in Morgantown there for the first two rounds? But he has signed Shantae Murray, as he announced that for the 2026-2027 season. And we get a quote here from Mark Kellogg saying, "We are thrilled to add Shantae to our Mountaineer family. She is a versatile player on both ends of the court that will fit nicely into our system. Defensively, she will impact the game and be disruptive with her length and athleticism. Offensively, she can get to the rim off the dribble, score at mid-range, and shoot the three ball. Her international experience with the Canadian national team will help her transition to Big 12 basketball. Let's all welcome Shantae to West Virginia." So that's the quote from Coach Kellogg. And here's a little bit of info. Crestwood Preparatory College, and like I said, playing for the Canadian national team is no joke, but 6'1", so good size, and currently playing her senior season there at Crestwood, like we talked about, which is the premier high school basketball team in Canada. In high school, she averaged 19 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and then how about 3 steals and 2 blocks per game as well, which will go right up the alley of the trading card for Mark Kellogg thus far, which is defense. But here's what really stood out to me. She's the 4th-ranked player in Canada's 2026 class and the number 90 ranked player in the class of 2026, according to the SportsCenter Next 100. So a top 100 recruit incoming for Mark Kellogg as well. She's been named a first-team OSBA All-Star at Crestwood Prep and the Athlete of the Year. She was also a McDonald's All-Canadian team nominee this season. She intends to major in business and sport management while at West Virginia University. So really excited for that pickup for the West Virginia women's team. And then, of course, we know the West Virginia men's team already has brought in, the highest-rated recruit in school history with Miles Sadler, and he just continues to impress more and more as he has claimed the EYBL title over the weekend and put on a show in doing so. Let's take a look here, and then I got an article I'll pull up which mentions him and the other basketball recruit that West Virginia may now be in the mix for that we need to talk about as well. So, first of all, let's share this. This coming from League Ready on social media, saying Miles Sadler is next level, having a massive 34-point performance in Bella Vista's upset over Montverde, who was a powerhouse there. Montverde's a really good team, and they were able to pull off the win 69-65 en route to winning the EYBL championship. And here's just about 50-second little highlight package of Miles Sadler that's pretty impressive. How about that one? 5'10" be damned. He's getting up off the court and ramming on somebody. Of course, his ability to get to the rim and score at will is on showcase here. I love his handles. Look at the crossover in the high ball screen into the 3. He's got a great shot release. There's the floater in action. You're seeing the whole bag here just in this 50-second clip. Look at that. That's using your body, using your strength to get to the rim and complete the end one. And then off the screen again. I love his ability to shoot off the dribble off these high ball screens. And then watch this. Get to the rim. Little double clutch finish. And I think this ends with a step back. Look at this nice little step back right here. Look at the handles and then the step back for 3 for Miles Sadler. Super impressive stuff here. Let's play the dunk one more time. Oh, man, yeah. You got to love that. Miles Sadler is going to be so special in Morgantown. 5-star recruits don't come through often, and he is going to be very, very fun to watch. So we pulled this up here from USA Today High School Sports, talking a little bit about not only that game, but Miles Sadler leading Bella Vista to the EYBL championship win, which now has them as the number 1 ranked team in the country currently after that performance. And we get a little bit of info here. When Arizona Compass took a 17-4 lead over number 12 Bella Vista in the EYBL Scholastic Championship, there was plenty of time to play, but things looked bleak for the Bears against the top-ranked team in the country, of course. It didn't take until the 4th quarter for Bella Vista to catch up. It didn't even take until half. Behind a huge surge from point guard Miles Sadler, the Bears pulled the deficit to only 2 points by the end of the 1st quarter. With the control of Sadler, the size of Saney, and a pair of missed dunks from AZ Compass Prep, Bella Vista won 69-65. And then we get here. Here's the stat line. Sadler had 24 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. He started rolling in the 1st quarter when they came from behind from that 17-4 deficit. The 5-star West Virginia signee hit a pair of back-to-back three-pointers to cut the deficit to a more manageable number. So, they're right there in the 1st quarter run of 11-0. 9 of them were from Miles Sadler. So Miles Sadler on a 9-0 run on his own just shows you the talent. That's the top-ranked team in the nation. He's doing that against guys. Great stat line there with the 24 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. And I think we get a quote here from him as well. Let me get to it here in the article. Here he is. Every day I came out and told my team that we're a 3rd quarter team, Sadler said on the broadcast. There's no one in the country that can mess with us in the 3rd quarter, and they ended the 3rd quarter with the lead. So putting his money where his mouth is there. And then later on in the article here, I want to get to this because with 2 minutes left and Compass trailing 64-65, they had an opportunity in transition. The ball handler got Paul Asaruni in the air, and Paul Osaruni is the other player that I want to talk about momentarily. And Osaruni is ranked by 247 Sports as the number 1 center and number 4 player in the class of 2027. And when the big man from Compass went for the dunk, Paul Osaruni got the block, and that was a game-changing block there. And he finished with 6 points, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 2 assists. So we know Miles Sadler is signed with the Mountaineers and coming, but let's talk a little bit about Paul Osaruni, because an article came out from On3, as I'll share here pull up the tweet for it on social media here. The article's behind a paywall, so I can't pull it up. But Jamie Shaw of On3 says 5-star Paul Osaruni's recruitment is starting to take shape, and they give the latest on who's in the mix for him. And you see West Virginia very much in the mix, along with Kentucky, Houston, Arkansas, Duke, and Oregon. Some top programs there. And just to show you how high-rated he is, we can pull this up as well. Here is his profile on 247 Sports, where he is indeed a 5-star, 98 graded player, 99 on the composite, top 5 player in the nation, number 1 center in the nation, number 1 player in the state of Arizona. Now, the difference here with him and Miles Sadler is Miles Sadler's incoming in this upcoming, this class that West Virginia just signed. He'll be here over the summer. Osaruni is supposed to be a 2027 recruit. Now, where this gets interesting is he could reclassify and come in this year with Miles Sadler, with Alio Doom, who he's been teammates with, who he has a connection with, Yusuf Ali at WVU, who's been a key cog in West Virginia landing, Alio Doom in West Virginia landing, Miles Sadler, of course, as well. But Paul Osaruni is supposed to come in next year. If he were to reclassify, I think that would be a good sign for West Virginia. If he stays a 2027 recruit, you're going to have to battle even longer against Arkansas, Duke, some of those programs. Not to say West Virginia still couldn't get him, but man, how awesome would it be if he would reclassify, and then you bring in not 1 but 2 5-stars in this class for next year? That would be absolutely incredible. And of course, hopefully you can keep some of the young guys that you brought in this year. Amir Jenkins was a high-rated recruit, and that's an example of someone that reclassified, came in a year early. Could Osaruni do that as well? We'll have to wait and see, but 6'10", 220, a top 5 player in the country, and West Virginia in the mix for him as well. So not only does West Virginia already have the highest rated recruit in school history coming in Miles Sadler, but they have another one they could be in the mix for with Paul Osaruni. So something to keep an eye there on the basketball side for sure, which that leads us to transition into a little football here, because I saw this out on social media and it led me to do some research on this young man. So let me pull this up first. As WVSports.com, that's the On3 rival site for WVU, put out that 2027 dual-threat quarterback Justin Murphy out of Georgia, plays for North Central School there, just landed a West Virginia offer. This coming a couple of days ago, and West Virginia is targeting him specifically at quarterback after months of communication, and he's listed as an athlete on multiple sites. So, West Virginia recruiting him as a quarterback is a good sign, and I think you'll like that when you see the film. We'll pull up his tape here in a second, take a look at a few plays. But a quote here from Justin Murphy out of College Park, Georgia there, North Clayton High School, saying, "It was exciting. I know Pat White went to the school and Pac-Man Jones, so hey, he knows some of the legends. He's excited about the offer, so that's a good sign at least." Now, West Virginia will have to battle some suitors for him, because very much this is another high-rated recruit on the football side. As we pull up his profile here on 247, we'll pull up on Rivals as well. You can see listed as an athlete, 6 foot, 192 pounds, but a 4-star, 90 grade, 93 grade on the composite from 247, a top 10 athlete in the country in the composite, top 15 in the regular, and one of the top 20 players in the state of Georgia, which we know produces some really good recruits. And this is a quarterback that runs, a 4.4, and you'll see some of that when we pull up the tape. But, you can check the offer list here and see all kinds of people after him. Georgia Tech, Kentucky, LSU, Maryland, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Tennessee, UCF, Vandy, WVU, on down the line there. So highly sought after. West Virginia will have to, fight off some suitors. But, man, after watching some of his tape, he was definitely one that shot to the top of my wish list for 2027 recruits. And here we see him on the Rivals rating as well, where they also give him a 4-star rating, a 91 grade, listed as an athlete here also. But we know West Virginia targeting him to play quarterback. Some of the other programs may not be, so that could be an advantage for West Virginia. They've pulled that in the past and landed some recruits because of it. But he is, top 150 in the nation on Rivals, top 20 in Georgia on Rivals as well, and nearly a top 5 athlete in the country on On3 and Rivals. And let me show you why he has that rating there, as we'll pull up a little bit of his highlights, and you guys can see why I was very excited when I first watched these. Let's pull up his huddle here and take a look. All right, so J Money Murphy. You got to love the nickname of Justin Murphy as well. And here he is now, number 2 for North Clayton High School here in Georgia. And yes, he can run, but look at the arm strength as well. I mean, that is a long ball, and he hit it right in stride on that first play that you'll see. But I'll show you the one that really excited me. It's coming up here. Because why? Read option, something he's going to be running a lot, and watch this speed. Guys with the angle, they're not able to get him. Gets down the field, watch him split these 2 defenders, and he's going to house that thing. And when I saw that, I said, if that's not a great quarterback to put in a Rich Rod offense, I don't know what is. Super special. And then watch this elusiveness right here on this one. This is a play that looks like they've got him dead to rights, looks like he's in trouble, looks like it could potentially be a safety. Instead, he avoids it and turns it into a big play to his receiver, hitting him while on the run, and what looked like it was going to be a disaster turns into a big play for his school there. Take a look at a couple more here on his huddle, but if you guys want to check this whole thing out, I can drop a link in the video description after I get done with this. When I get done with the stream, I'll put it in the video description for it to be up on the playback there because his highlight tape is definitely worth watching. Look at the elusiveness there, and look at him lowering the shoulder at the end, trying to get the extra yards. I like that aspect to his game as well. Here he is rolling out, throwing it on the run, and dropping it right there before the safety can get there in time. And I love his game for a quarterback in a Rich Rod style offense. I really do. That zone read run sold it for me right off the bat there. And like I said, definitely at the top of my wish list for 2027 recruits right now as he throws a touchdown pass there. And you'll see him do this a couple times in the video where he fakes like he's going to run, and the whole defense comes in, and then he's able to just find somebody wide open. I think he does it here as well. You see how he stepped up like he was about to take off, and it just leaves a receiver wide open to go score a touchdown. So pretty impressive stuff there, and that's nearly half of that junior season highlight tape that he has. Definitely check out the whole thing. Like I said, I'll drop the link in the video description once I get done here. But really excited about Justin Murphy, man. West Virginia offering him at quarterback, I think is a good sign that hopefully West Virginia stands a chance at landing the young man. Let's keep our fingers crossed on that one. And so lastly, a couple other things I wanted to touch on really quickly here before I get to some of your all's questions and comments before we wrap up here. That was the main thing. I just want to hit on those recruiting updates. More great news about Miles Sadler, the potential of West Virginia being in the mix for Paul Osaruyi, of course, Shantae Murray coming in on the women's side, and then Justin Murphy. Fingers crossed West Virginia can win a recruiting battle for that one, a quarterback that they just offered that you just took a look at that I'm really excited about West Virginia targeting. So we'll keep an eye on that one throughout the process as we continue to cover the 2027 recruiting class for West Virginia. He's definitely one that we'll keep a close eye on. Other than that, we did have some news on a former Mountaineer. Nico Marchiol put on social media, always bet on yourself, and shared his commitment graphic as he's heading to the Big Ten. I know there were rumors that, his injury was bad and maybe wouldn't be able to play again. Seems like that's not the case. He did get his medical red shirt also, I saw him put out on social media. So 2 years of eligibility remaining for Nico Marchiol, and he'll play those out at Northwestern as he finally finds his next destination there, and he'll be battling Aiden Childs, the Michigan State quarterback transfer. I'm sure they'll have a QB battle, but he also has an extra year of eligibility that Childs doesn't, even if he doesn't win the battle this year. So wish the best of luck to Nico Marchiol in his new landing spot, Backyard Brawl legend, and we'll always have that for his West Virginia career, right? So wanted to update that. And then lastly, I talked about the West Virginia Mountaineers landing in the college basketball crown earlier today on WVU News Daily, but I didn't get a chance to share Coach Hodges' statement about it, so I wanted to share that here on the stream and read that really quickly, and then I'll get some of your all's questions and comments. Appreciate you guys tuning into this one. Coach Hodge says, we are pleased to be able to continue our season by participating in the second college basketball crown in Las Vegas. Everything I've heard about the inaugural tournament last year is that it's a tremendous event and first-class experience for the teams and their fans. We have a wonderful group of guys on and off the court, and the crown provides us a special opportunity to continue our season. So I'm actually excited about the Crayon Tournament for multiple reasons. Number one is because I didn't get to watch it last year. Now I get to check it out for the first time ever. And then number two, I think what's really cool about it is the prospect of winning NIL money. If you win just one game, if we win our first round game against Stanford, we win at least $50K. If we win another game, we win at least $100K. And then, of course, if we win the championship, you get $300K for your NIL pool, which is really cool. And I just thought of something as well. I need to try and see if I can do this really quickly on the fly, because yet again, I do have the Country Roads Webcast Bracket Challenge group up and running. I want to see if I can share it here in the chat, and then I'll post a link for it in the video description as well afterwards. Let's see if I can pull it up here. 2026 version is what I want. Why did it have me on the 2025 version? I don't know. So pretty much going to do it the same way as last year, just for fun, to enter. But if you win, I will gift whoever, basically what is the equivalent of 2 months of membership at the Almost Heaven level to the CRW channel, which is it not going to let me share it here. Well, I'll have to just post it. I don't know why it's not going to let me share it. I'll have to post it in the video description afterwards. But it's just Country Roads Webcast, of course, space between the words. You could probably look it up that way and join it as well. But I'll put a link in the video description once I finish the stream. But the winner is going to get 2 months of membership to the channel, which basically just means I'll send you, I think it's about $12, $13. It's $5 a month at the Almost Heaven level after taxes. 12, 13. So I'll probably send you somewhere between $13 and $15 because I have to do it that way. I'll send it to you via Cash App, PayPal, however you can accept it, because for whatever reason on YouTube you can't just give somebody a channel membership, which would make it a lot easier, but that's what we're going to do. We'll have that rolling again this year, so the winner gets a nice prize of a couple months of membership here, which if you haven't checked out, being a channel member here at the CRW, I definitely encourage it, which you can do with the join button below or in the YouTube channel homepage. And with that, you get a ton of bonus content like film reviews, player grades, snap counts after football games. We do game watch parties for select football and basketball games, monthly member hangout streams at the end of each month, some behind-the-scenes videos, a bunch of fun stuff there for channel members. Plus, you probably see the custom helmet badges on some of the channel members in the chat there, as I'm going to get to some of their comments now. And if you guys got any of your own, you can drop them there in the chat as well. I'll try and get to some of these here before we wrap up. But really excited about these recruiting updates, both for the basketball and football side. So just had to come on here and talk to you guys about it. And it was time to get another live stream in. I know that it's spring break now, so we don't have any Rich Rod press conferences until next week, but we'll find some things to get on here and chat about in some live streams. So I got a chance to chat with you guys again about some WVU football and WVU basketball. I'm glad we had that opportunity to do that tonight, and appreciate all you guys that tuned in live, or if you're watching on playback, appreciate that just as much. But let's get to some comments from you guys here. Devil Dog says, let's go. Hey, let's go Mountaineers, Devil Dog. Good to see you as always. And then he ends up sending in one of my favorite quotes from Rich Rod, so much so, he hit it on his first press conference again here in spring, and I had to read through that quote multiple times when I covered that press conference. But to quote Rich Rod, you can win a national championship at West Virginia. And I love that he continues to hammer that home. Let's get the Big 12 first, and, then everything else will hopefully fall in line. But get us to a Big 12 title, then we can hit in that CFP and see where the chips may fall. But, be accomplishment just to get us into a Big 12 title game. Something we've all been waiting on for, over a decade now. We're getting close to 15 years of waiting on that one. So let's hope it happens. Big Dan T in the house says he is a beast. I completely agree. I don't know if you're talking about Osiri or the quarterback Justin Murphy, but either one I agree, or Miles Sadler. I agree on Miles Sadler also. I think all three are super special players. Miles Sadler, obviously the highest rated recruit in school history, and I think he has a chance to transform the program. He just won that EYBL title, and he was named EYBL Player of the Year. And what's crazy is if you look the last two EYBL Player of the Years, you know who they were? Darius Acuff, who's having a phenomenal year at Arkansas this year. John Calipari's really been, waxing poetic and raving about him. And the prior year, it was Cooper Flagg. So that's the type of company that Miles Sadler's in. That's the type of player that West Virginia is bringing into Morgantown. Eric Flowers says, I'm still fighting my big dance brackets. I'm like that uncle on Better Off Dead trying to win that radio contest. That's a good one, Eric. I like to wait. I'll probably fill mine out Wednesday night or Thursday morning, because I like to wait and see those play-in game results. To me, it's just so hard to pick without knowing who wins those play-in games. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Guess that, because what if I pick one of the teams that didn't even win the play-in game? Then I'm already wrong, So I like to wait on that. Speaking of, Eric, did you see? I don't know if you use DraftKings or FanDuel. I use DraftKings. They don't have theirs out yet, but FanDuel did come out with their win lines for some teams, and they've got West Virginia at that 5.5 win mark, like we were hoping they would, because as I talked about in the past, I think 6 wins is the floor. So, hey, if you're on FanDuel, go ahead throw some money on that one, Eric, because they got it at 5.5 wins for West Virginia on the line there in FanDuel. Hopefully DraftKings follows suit and has something similar, and I can throw some money down on that one and finally make it back after getting burnt the past couple of years, as I know me and you have talked about in the past. Devil Dog says, these recruiting cycles are a breath of fresh air. The previous coaching staff, I really had to put on the gold and blue glasses when looking at the players. Yeah, I agree, man. You can definitely tell the tide has turned with West Virginia investing more. You can definitely see that with what they've done, in both sports, football and basketball, and, with the high school classes and the portal classes, and hopefully that continues. And I think as long as Ren Baker is here, it certainly will. Plus, you now have the buy-in from up top. They're aligned with him and Michael Benson as well. So I think it's really exciting also, Devil Dog. Completely agree. Let's see here. Especially after Big 12 coaches said we looked like a MAC team, Devil Dog adds. Yeah. When I read that comment, I was kind of upset, like, no way, they're just saying that. But then when you watched us that season and you saw our players in comparison to some of the others, in hindsight, you were like, actually, that coach was probably dead on the money. And I think that it's good to see that tide turning as well. Got some really, guys that you want to have getting off the bus first, so to speak, right? We got some big hogs this year for sure. Big Dan T says, love how Rich Rod is targeting all kinds of quarterbacks. Me too. We're throwing a lot of, stakes in the fire there for a bunch of quarterbacks here, with what we did with the 2026 quarterbacks. I like all the freshmen that we brought in. I like the ones we're targeting in 2027 as well. Got my fingers crossed for Justin Murphy, though. We'll see what happens, but definitely, like I said, top of my wish list right now after seeing his highlight tape. Big Dan T says, love this for Nico. Devil Dog says, good luck, Nico. Gave it all he had at WVU. Yeah, he definitely did. I think, had he not had that foot injury last season, maybe things would have turned out a little bit differently for him, because I think he could have added more to the running aspect of that offense than he was able to with that foot injury. But, I think it was, at the end of the day, once the chips fell the way that they did, once the cookie crumbled how it did, it was just best for him to move on, best for West Virginia to move on as well. And, we saw that in the back half of the season. But that's one player that I think all fans have always kind of held in high regard and had a lot of respect for staying as he did, waiting his turn as he did, always speaking highly of the state and of the program. And, I think that a lot of fans will be cheering for Nico at his next destination. And that's why I definitely wanted to share that, because like I said, he was a fan favorite, and he's one that I hope has success in the remainder of his career. Yeah, I was surprised it dropped that early too, Eric. That's why I was like, I got to check DraftKings, see if theirs is up yet. It's not, but I think theirs usually drops in the summer. But yeah, FanDuel's is up there for sure. For sure. Eric says, have you seen Better Off Dead? Yeah, that's the John Cusack one, right? That's the one I'm thinking of, yeah. I believe I've seen it. It's a pretty good one. I like it. I actually just, funny enough, saw it for the first time. I guess it was a couple of years ago. A guy I was working with at the time, I hadn't seen it, and he let me borrow the DVD, and I watched it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a good one. It's a good one for sure. Which, great time for me to plug the other channel, JC's Movies. You guys should check that out here on YouTube as well. I just put out a movie review for Undertone today. I review a lot of horror movies there. I reviewed Undertone and Dolly recently. Plus, I do movie news updates every Monday through Friday with the Movie News Daily Show on that channel. And that's JC''S Movies on that channel. And then I have a college football video game channel as well. That's JC''S CFB. But I think we're all caught up in the chat, and hey, just in time. Look at us, right around the 30-minute mark, just like we planned it, guys. Got to cover a good bit of news, got to chat with you guys a little bit, and can't wait to do that again here in the near future. Just to summarize for some of you guys that hopped in late, definitely rewind, go back to the beginning, catch this on the playback if you're coming in late, because I think we got some good info on both some really talented basketball recruits that are super high rated with, of course, Miles Sadler, another update on him and what he's done here in his late latter portion of his career, and then another target, a 5-star target, a big man that West Virginia's in the mix for in Paul Osaruyi, plus a talented recruit coming in on the women's side, and then a quarterback that West Virginia just offered in the 2027 class that looks super impressive as far as being a fit in Rich Rod's offense that I'm really excited about for sure. So with that being said, guys, I'll drop, his highlights, the full link to his junior season highlights in the video description after I'm done here, and I'll put the link to the CRW Bracket group. I believe it's up on YouTube already in the community page on a post here. I've got it up on my social media, but I'll drop it in this video description as well. Get in on that. It's free to join. If you win, I'll give you a couple months worth of membership here to the Country Roads webcast. But having said that, guys, be back to chat with you guys in the near future. Of course, we'll try and get some more WVU News Daily out this week. Don't know if we'll get to get it out every day, Monday through Friday, but I believe we've got some topics to maybe drop another one tomorrow. It's looking good thus far. I was worried about being able to get it out this week with it being spring break, but still working. So be sure you're checking that out every Monday through Friday here on the channel in pre-recorded fashion. And then, of course, come back for these live streams and we'll chat a little bit about WVU football and WVU basketball. But a lot of fun stuff on the horizon. College basketball crown coming up in April. Spring practice resuming after spring break. We got March Madness right now. I know the Mountaineers aren't in it, but hey, still always fun to fill out brackets and compete with each other and all that fun stuff. So join the CRW Bracket group, and we'll do just that. But that's all I got, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning into this one, whether you watch live or on a playback. Either way, hit the thumbs up button before you're done watching. Help out with that crazy YouTube algorithm, and be sure you got that subscribe button clicked to stay up to date on your WVU sports news from me here at the Country Roads webcast. But appreciate you guys. As always, I'm Jordan Cruz, and until next time, let's go Mountaineers.